Please welcome to the stage CEO of Vercel and creator of Next.js, Guillermo Rauch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vercel Ship. This is our first ever in-person Vercel user conference, which I love. I love in person. Of course, we have Next.js Conf, but that's specific to Next.js. Today, we get to talk about all of our other investments, the web as a whole, the big picture. So if you know anything about me, you know that I've been betting on the web for basically my entire life at this point. So let me take you back. Wow, what a reverse glow up. So what's different? Well, for one, I had a lot of hair. Our logos look different. But also, Vercel, Zeit at the time, was just two things: Next Dev and Now Deploy. Remember Now? Two commands focused purely on utility for developers first. I was solving problems for myself as a developer. I had been building a website for my startup, and as you know, you have a startup, you have to launch fast, you have to begin iterating. And how do you choose your tech stack for your startup? Well, you go in Hacker News, you go in X, you see what's trending, and you pick it. And at the time, React was trending. But guess what? For me, React really made a huge difference. To me, that was like a new beginning. I became React build until today. And as I'm trying to get this website out into production, to raise my seed round, to launch my product, I realized that I'm spending weeks just setting up all this stuff around React, like Kubernetes. Remember Kubernetes? Bundlers, compilers, transpilers, CSS in JS. Remember CSS in JS? That was last week, though. Yeah. So that's not how I wanted to spend my time. So instead of spending weeks setting up all this stuff to get that website out, I pivoted. And I spent 8 years of my life building a cloud platform, as one does, to ensure that no developer had to deal with all that stuff ever again. So for me, this is deployment infrastructure from the point of view of somebody that really just wants to ship. And that's why we call the conference Vercel Ship. We wanted to focus on great user experiences. And looking back, quite honestly, we were more concerned with the design and how things worked than the instance types of the multi-AZ, high availability, 3XL metal web scale cluster. So we just wanted to ship. And it turns out that I wasn't alone. There's dozens of us. There's so many great companies that have joined us in this journey. And many of these are here today, and you can get to meet their creators. But really, there's a huge movement behind this. It starts with open source, and Vercel just crossing 1 million active developers with Next.js, as well as supporting over 35 other open source front-end frameworks. And when you deploy these frameworks on Vercel, we're proud to share that we're close to hitting 100 billion weekly requests served through our managed infrastructure. And last but not least, I'm proud to share that we've just passed $100 million in annual revenue, which is an important milestone for us because it means that so many of you trust us to build and be your partner in the future of the web. Those two initial utilities we started have unlocked a whole category, which we now call the front-end cloud. The front-end cloud. It even has a fancy marketing term. That's how you know it's real. I do love the term because that's exactly what this is. It's an entire cloud platform designed for and optimized for and built by the front-end developers and teams that deeply care about the user experience. Teams with billions of users, as we saw, and you all out there with no users yet. And honestly, for folks that appreciate design engineering, that want to start with the desired end state, a beautiful product that works great, that is personalized, and then work backwards to composing backends and APIs and all of that necessary backend infra. So we started with the idea that to build the best possible cloud, we had to invest in the best possible open source tools and creators. Open source frameworks drive the two critical pieces of our front-end cloud: the developer experience platform and our managed infrastructure platform. And together, they cover the entire software development lifecycle, from idea to production. So the X platform, as the name implies, it's all about shipping fast, having a great experience, but also with the right direction. So these are tools that, crucially, you can all implement incrementally into your projects, no matter where you host, in order to then build and ship great experiences. But if you want to offload all the hard parts of managing infrastructure and offload that to us, we built the infrastructure in tandem with those frameworks that I talked about. So Vercel's managed infrastructure is just one push away for you and secure by default, which is a huge theme for today. So overall, the web is not static. It's changing so fast, faster than ever, especially with now AI tools and assistants whispering in our ear, what do we have to build? So just a year ago, I was thinking that I had to ship my NFT Bored Ape, and now I'm shipping my GPT wrapper. Just let that sink in. Think about how fast things are moving. So today, we're inviting you to push the envelope and push the future of the web with us. Our mantra is seeing is believing. And today, I'm going to show you, together with our team, real demos, real UIs. And it really all starts with an idea. So let's bring on Jared Palmer to talk about how we're helping you get started with that idea faster.
One of the hardest parts of development is that initial blank page. You have an idea, but getting it from your head to the screen can just feel daunting. Yeah, there are templates and boilerplates, but I'm talking about that just fundamental moment. And you want to start with the UI. And that moment is why we built V0. It's an AI-powered tool that lets you generate React code from simple text prompts and images. Since we launched V0, the Vercel community has generated over 3 million UIs. That's 3 million times the developers have gone from idea to code faster than ever before. We've been listening to your feedback, and we've been working hard to make V0 even better. So with that, let me bring up Lee Robinson, our head of DevRel, to show you what V0 can do. All right, Lee.
All right, what do we want to build?
Well, I think since we're at Vercel Ship, let's build a conference talk submission form.
Okay.
And
anything else?
For Vercel Ship.
Okay, for Vercel Ship. Sound good?
Feels right.
Let's do it. So what's happening here while we're building this?
So V0 took that prompt, and now it's actually going to generate React code using Shad CNUI and Tailwind CSS just for you after we get out of this gigantic queue.
There's a lot of demand right now to be building UI, I guess.
Yeah, and it gives us 3 different options. And so
Here's
we can
one.
choose for them. Choose one of them. This one looks pretty good. And if you popped open the code tab, you actually see the React code streaming in live.
Oh, nice.
Pretty neat. So it looks like that one's finished.
Yeah.
Use that one, it looks pretty good.
I like it.
So the idea is this is a great starting point, but we can even do better.
Okay.
So let's make this even spiffier. Let's,
Make it pop?
yeah, make it pop. Maybe make it, you know what's better than 1 column?
Yeah.
2 columns.
2 columns.
Let's
yeah,
go
you're
2
right.
columns, and then let's make it 2 columns. Let's put the form on the left side, and on the right side, let's put the conference information, and a testimonial, or testimonials.
Okay,
Let's do it.
that sounds good. Make it pop. Who knows what's going to do? Make it pop.
Make it pop. Make it pop is pretty risky, but
I mean, 2
we'll go for it
columns is
anyway.
good. It's definitely better.
We'll do it live.
Yes. And it streams in the code, so I can always go check out the code as it's coming in, as it's working.
And there it is.
Nice.
Streaming. We
I
love
love
streaming.
streaming. We got some flex box going. We got the left side first. There's our form. Nice. Talk title, Building the Future of the Web. Not bad.
Yeah, we're looking for speakers to share their knowledge at Vercel Ship, submit your talk proposal and knowledge. Love that for us.
Okay.
And there comes the conference information.
Okay.
We got an icon for the date. We've got an icon for the location. It thinks that we're in San Francisco, but we're not.
We're not.
We're in New York. What do attendees say? Ooh, we got a little
Vercel Ship
placeholder.
is the
Sarah
premier
Williams.
conference.
All right, well, look, this thing's pretty good, but if you need that extra layer of precision, you actually just edit the code directly. So let's see, instead of Sarah Williams, why don't we change that to Scarlett Johansson?
Or Sky for short.
Or Sky, yeah, either one. We can just press save and go from there. And the idea with V0 is just as the name implies, this is your starting point, that moment when you go from idea to code. And to actually use this code, if we go back for a second to the code tab after we preview around in different environments, we could actually just copy it right there.
Nice.
Cool. Or if you're extremely lazy, you can just,
I am actually.
well, we love it. You can just go to the CLI command, pop that into a terminal, into a Next.js project, and it'll not only make a component with the generated code, but also install the shadcn UI dependencies you need to make it real.
Nice.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. And we can, looks like we can check out different screen sizes here as well too.
And
Maybe-
change the theme.
Ooh. You know what? I'm a serif font fan. Let's do
Amazing.
that. Yeah, or maybe we switch it up for this one. Wow.
Serifs are great.
Fancy.
Yes.
Fancy.
Thank you, Lee.
Awesome. Thank you.
We've been working hard to make V0 even faster, more reliable, and more accessible. We've significantly improved the speed and efficiency of our underlying models so you can generate code in just a matter of seconds. We've also enhanced the reliability of the entire platform, ensuring V0 is there when you need it. V0 now also automatically tries to add ARIA attributes to all of its generated code. And while it's not perfect yet, it does bring us one step closer to industry standards for inclusive user interfaces. You can try it today and visit v0.dev to get started. So V0 lets you go from code to idea in seconds. It's leveraging AI to help jumpstart your next big thing. But what about building AI native experiences yourselves? Companies like OpenAI, Perplexity, Grok, Pika, Leonardo, Suno, and Hume have all chosen Vercel as their front-end cloud. And today, you can too. And again, when it comes to building these experiences, Vercel is there to give you the tools that you need. And that's where the Vercel AI SDK comes in. It's a TypeScript framework that handles the complexities of building AI native applications so you can focus on raising $7 trillion for your seed round or just getting that internal promotion, instead of writing boilerplate code. You could think of it like this. What Next.js does for React, the AI SDK does for language models. And companies like Zapier have already adopted the AI SDK. They just launched their new automation platform called Zapier Central, which is built with Next.js, Vercel, and the AI SDK. This app gives you an AI-based chat workspace where you can automate bots and work across over 6,000 apps through their platform. The AI SDK is organized into 2 pillars. The AI SDK core is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It's a unified API for working with language models from all major providers: OpenAI, Mistral, Anthropic, Grok, the big G, you name it. And best of all, you can even build your own. You can kind of think of it like an ORM, but instead of for databases, it's for language models. And it abstracts away all the quirks and nuances between providers. With the AI SDK core, integrating an LLM comes down to just 2 simple questions. What kind of data do I want to generate? Is it going to be text or a structured object? And then, how do I want it delivered? It's either going to be all at once or bit by bit, streamed incrementally. And then switching between providers is as easy as changing just a single line of code. You want to try out Mistral's latest model they launched last night? No problem. Or check out GPT-4o? Easy. So we all know that chatbots are all the rage. But building a basic chat interface still actually requires a decent amount of boilerplate. You got state management, streaming text parsing, lifecycle hooks. It's just a lot to do and a lot to mess up. And that's why we created the AI SDK UI, our second pillar. With just 3 framework-agnostic hooks, use chat, use completion, and use assistant, you can build a fully functional streaming chatbot in just about 50 lines of code. It's actually that simple. But we're not just building text-based chatbots anymore. That's so 6 months ago. With the AI SDK's React Server Components APIs, you can actually go further. You can now go beyond just plain text and give chatbots rich, component-based interfaces with what we're calling generative UI. So whether you're using your existing components or new ones, or generating them on the fly like we just saw with V0, React Server Components and the AI SDK present the ideal architecture for streaming these next-gen user experiences. If this all sounds pretty wild, it's because it is. So let's take a look at a quick demo to show you what I mean. So here's a chatbot built with the AI SDK and Next.js. In addition to plain text responses like, let's just type here, what is love? And we'll tell it, we'll just submit it. It can actually do a lot more. For example, this chatbot is wired up to be a scheduling assistant. And instead of just responding with plain text, if I ask to, let's say, book a meeting with Lee at 2 p.m. today to talk about the movie Her, if I hit submit here, we're going to get a beautiful schedule component. It's going to be interactive. And I can confirm the meeting. I can lock in the details. And it's fully wired into the chat experience. And why don't we move the hackathon to the weekend, because that's what we always do. What's awesome is I can have this interactive experience without leaving the conversation. It's truly, truly an AI-native experience. With the new Stream UI method, we built all of this. And it's part of the AI SDK. And it makes building these kinds of experiences with these streaming interfaces even easier to build. You can mix text, tools, and function calling with React Server Components to build AI-native experiences. And best of all, because of React Server Components, you can stream these UIs without the need for heavy client-side JavaScript, unless it's necessary, which means your apps can be more interactive and responsive without sacrificing performance. The AI SDK is your toolkit for building enterprise-grade AI applications easier than ever before. It's available today, so check out the documentation at sdk.vercel.ai. And you can start exploring the possibilities and start creating. Or, better yet, you can start iterating. To tell us more, here's Greta Workman, VP of Product Marketing.
Is all about giving you the tools to prioritize your user experience, to focus on what makes your product great, and quickly iterate. I know we all love localhost, but you can't iterate on localhost alone. You need feedback. Putting out great products is a team sport. But historically, getting to a state where you can get useful feedback has been hard. Sure, you can send screenshots, you can try to simulate experiences, or hack together separate infrastructure or complex staging pipelines, like this person is doing. But it can be weeks of dev time, and at larger organizations, it can mean spending up to 30% of your infrastructure budget on just the dev, test, and staging environments alone. With Vercel, this isn't a separate step. Every change you commit gets built and deployed as a live URL, a standalone environment that you can share with your team. And today, this is available whether you're using GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps, or your own CI. This allows you to ship smaller and remove dependencies across teams or branches. And because this is live production-grade infrastructure, it's easier to test across browsers and try interactions, share with your team, exactly how your users would experience it. This is consistently called out as one of our most impactful features of our DX platform. United Airlines has been working hand-in-hand with our partner, AmericanEagle.com, on their Gate of the Future initiatives, with signage at airports around the world that will be served up by Vercel. Preview deployments and comments have been a game changer in making faster release cycles and team collaboration. But beyond automating your CI/CD and bringing more people into your development process, these preview deployments also come with their own set of developer tools, which give you more functionality to easily collaborate, debug, QA, wherever you're building. Let me show you what this is all about and how we use the toolbar at Vercel. All right, so at Vercel, we are big on dogfooding. You've probably heard us talk about iterate to greatness. You heard G say, seeing is believing. To us, yeah, we talk about iterate to greatness all the time. It means always be iterating. And to us, that means inside of comments, inside of the toolbar. Being a Vercelian means seeing comments everywhere you go. Whether you're in a preview deployment of a new dashboard feature or you're browsing the production website of Vercel, you'll see comments wherever you go. We use comments to make bug reports, to make copy suggestions, and tons more. So we just launched this site recently. You'll see we kind of got a lot of stuff going on. Let's take a look. So this is the toolbar. You'll see we have, you can see your inbox. You can see who else is online. You can share this with your team. Let's take a look at some of these comments. So Alina thinks we've got too many hyphens going on in this subhead. Respectfully, I'm going to say no. Disagree. Here's one. OK, Dan thinks we've got some inconsistent text wrapping. Let me see what browser he's on. OK, cool. Now, if I wanted to, I could make a linear ticket for my design engineering team so they could turn this into a bug report and fix it. This also integrates with Jira or directly into Slack, other productivity tools. Then we've got some copy changes, I think, too. We use, like many of our customers, we use Vercel as the head to our headless CMS, which makes it really easy to integrate with CMSs directly and find the copy changes, find where that content lives in the CMS, and make quick changes. So here, I could just open this up in Contentful, make the change, and because of Vercel draft mode, you're able to see what that looks like before pushing live to production. This makes it a lot easier for me as a marketer to get in there and make changes without needing to kind of involve our developer team. But we've also got a lot of extra dev tools in here that make it easier for debugging, making sure that you're always staying on top of web standards like accessibility and core web vitals. So here we can dig into any of the layout shifts that are happening on the page. No layout shifts, nice. Interaction timing, this is a new core web vital, INP, that Google launched recently. So you can see kind of how your interactions on the site are working. Looks like we're all green. Awesome. Accessibility audit to make sure you're always keeping up with accessible standards and things like that. And then my favorite, the OG card. We're very big on OGs at Vercel, so we want to make sure that everything looks good before we ship to socials. So the toolbar and previews are really helpful in iterating and making quick changes to the site. But how do you make sure that you're rolling things out correctly, that you're making the right changes? Show of hands, who here is using feature flags to roll out their products? All right, cool. Who's just YOLOing builds out as they're ready? Yeah, OK. You're just force pushing to main when the vibes are right. Sick. Has anyone been scooped, by the way, by Jane Wong on Twitter? She tends to find some feature flags and scoops you. Don't worry, we've got you covered there soon, too. No, but in all seriousness, we love flags for experimentation, for safe rollouts and QA. They help us work across teams better. Whether you have millions of users or you haven't launched yet, feature flags are a way to not just de-risk the tech side of the house, but also de-risk your roadmap, to make sure you're building the right things. Are you talking about them in the right ways? I, as a product marketer, everything I do centers around a feature flag. As we're building, I can be in the product and test out new features and functionality. I can work with beta customers to understand how they're using the feature and make sure the messaging is on point. In front of some of our larger e-com customers, using feature flags for experimentation or even just flipping on a promotion at the right time can mean tens of millions of dollars in improved conversion rates and revenue capture. But we see companies hesitate to work with flags for two reasons, our two favorite things to talk about at Vercel: developer experience and user experience. Flags are a little hard to integrate. They can add complexity to the rollout process. And sometimes if you're doing things on the client side, it can degrade performance. So I want to talk about a few things that we're doing to help make flags adoption easier. So a couple months ago, you may have noticed a new addition to your Vercel toolbar, this little toggle here. This toggle allows you to bring the flags workflow into your dev and preview environments. It can integrate with any flags provider like Optimizely or LaunchDarkly or Split. And it gives you the ability for your team members to simulate the state of the flag right from the Vercel toolbar. So you, as a developer, designer, QA engineer, CEO, can experience these flows just as your user would. Since we rolled this out, behind a flag, of course, to our beta users, companies like Perplexity and Leonardo AI have flipped the switch on their toolbars over 20,000 times. Who here knows Notion? Yeah, sick. We love Notion at Vercel. Notion is a simple, powerful workspace where millions of teams and individuals, including us, write, plan, collaborate, create. They use feature flags to run experiments, to control public rollouts of big launches. Here, they're using feature flags to roll out a new homepage design they've been working on and to test out some new messaging. So you can see they're going to simulate the flag so they can make changes, see how it looks like for their users, without having to go back to their flags provider and coordinate that swap. And since this override can be used anywhere the toolbar is present, you can simulate that user experience in your dev, test, preview, production environments. You can also share those overrides with your collaborators so they can see exactly what you're working on as well. And today, we're integrating your flags workflow even deeper across our DX platform, starting with web analytics. Now you'll be able to break down your page views and custom events based on the feature flags that are active. Soon, you'll be able to also see flags that are active in your logs and flags-related impacts to things like Speed Insights and Core Web Vitals, no matter what framework or flag provider you're using. By the way, Notion, love the site, great use of color. That's helpful if you've already got flags up and running, but pulling those into your code and using them correctly can also be hard. Today, we're also making it more straightforward to pull feature flags into your Next.js app by giving you the framework to actually use those, the Flags SDK, to use those in your code and use them right, without impacting user performance. With this package, we're making it easier to get initial loads without great layout shifts, and today it's available for Next.js and very soon for SpellKit. So the DX platform helps you preview and ship quickly and safely, to iterate on your experience and keep going. We could stop there. That alone has helped our customers ship up to 6 times faster. But let's bring G back on to keep going and talk more about where we're going.
Thank you, Greta. At Vercel, we believe that developer experience and user experience go hand in hand. They're not a dichotomy. So we've built fast and secure infrastructure for building and deploying with your favorite front-end frameworks. Deep framework integration is central to what we do. And it's what ties together the DX platform, where you can iterate quickly with your team, and our managed infrastructure, where you can ship to billions around the globe in an instant. We call that merge, and you might have heard this a few times. It's really important. You might have heard the word framework-defined infrastructure. Is that merge between DX and the framework and the outputs of optimal cloud architecture. The way that it works is that we analyze your code. We start with the application, and then we autonomously create and deploy infrastructure that's fast, scalable, reliable, and secure. It eliminates the need of manual configuration files and infrastructure as code. And most importantly, it reduces the complexity, and it reduces the chance of introducing human error into any kind of rollout, especially when you deploy to production. Now, please welcome to the stage Lee Robb, who's going to talk about innovations in infrastructure and Next.js.
See you all here in New York and also online. I was just checking the chat. Somebody's already doing a AI count. I think we're at 18. So for the montage, AI. There, we can add it in later. I'm not going to talk too much about AI here. We'll save that for Jared. I'm going to talk about our infrastructure. We all love fast sites, both developers trying to build something that loads really quickly and customers who are trying to build that really snappy product experience. And on Vercel, we give all developers, even y'all in the free tier, the fastest possible experience out of the box. But everything's fast at Hello World, right? We want to help you stay fast over time as your site grows and as you become more successful. So let's talk about some of the improvements we've been making to our function startup times, as well as our global infrastructure to make this possible. And let's start with cold starts. While cold starts aren't really a problem for really large sites, they can be painful for smaller applications. So let's dig in, and let's see how often this happens on the Vercel platform. So Vercel serves about 100 billion requests per week. Decent amount. And a subset of these functions power your Next.js applications, your APIs for your Svelte pages, or your dynamic e-commerce stores built with Nuxt. Now, of that subset, about 0.5 of those function invocations are cold starts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lee, that's BS. I've felt that. I've had a site that started up slowly. It was painful. And they do exist, especially for customers who have lower traffic sites. Now, while most functions are already warm, we want to help make this fast even when you have a function that starts up slow, and that's the difference between a good or great experience of your product. So, what are we doing about it? Well, what we're going to talk about today are 3 different categories. But first, I want to toss out this poll to you all. So if you could use this QR code or go to ship-vote.vercel.app here in New York or online. I'm curious to hear what you all think is the main reason for a cold start. We're going to have a couple options here for you to check out. Is it Vercel's infrastructure? Is it the framework runtime? Is it user code? Or my favorite, is it a skill issue? If you're talking about me, it probably is a skill issue, so I can see why that one might get more votes than others. So we'll let the votes tally in here a little bit. Got people online, people here. That's a pretty close race. Let's see, skill issue. Skill issue, is it going to win out? Maybe. OK, framework runtime takes the lead, the fastest horse in the race. OK, we'll call it for here. We've been digging in further on all of these options, and we want to talk about how we can improve this startup time across the infra, across the framework code, as well as user code. So all 3 of these make up a cold start, even though sometimes it's a skill issue for me as well, too. So let's start with our infrastructure. Vercel functions now get proactively initialized. You can think about this kind of like how prefetching works in Next.js. So as a request to a function comes in, we're able to automatically start up that function ahead of time with no manual work required. You don't need to go in and tweak any knobs. It just keeps it fast. Now, let's say you do have a cold start, which does happen. How can we make that as fast as possible? Well, of course, as the kids are doing, we have to rewrite it in Rust. That's the solution, rewrite in Rust. Now, I know it's kind of a meme, but it actually has been extremely impactful for us. So we recently announced our Rust-powered Vercel functions, and we've seen 80 millisecond faster cold starts on average, and 500 milliseconds faster cold starts in the largest applications. And this is data coming from real Vercel customer traffic as well, too. So that's our infra. For the framework in Next.js, we've been working hard over the last year to minimize the framework runtime size when it gets bundled into a Vercel function. And also, we've tried to remove as many unused dependencies as possible, because a smaller runtime means a faster startup time. So that's some framework changes. But let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to what we're doing for your code. So most of this cold start comes from the code that's provided into the function. And we think there's an opportunity here. What can we do here? Ideally, there was a way that we could just optimize this user code for you. Well, today, we're excited to announce bytecode optimized Vercel functions, which we've been validating with select customers. we've seen up to 30% faster cold starts for larger applications from these bytecode optimized functions. And this is huge, because most of that cold start time is from the heaviest object in the world, my node modules folder. It animated off the screen, there's so much. So let's talk a little bit about how this works, how this bytecode optimization works. So a visitor comes into our site, it invokes a function, and then the code, my source code, gets read and compiled down into that bytecode. Can you believe that? At runtime, it's parsing and compiling all of that code before just ultimately ending up in this, that's real bytecode. I mean, if it all ends up as bytecode, couldn't we just give the function bytecode directly? And well, that's exactly what we can now do with Vercel functions. This is going to be rolling out to all customers in the coming weeks, and we're really excited to see these further improvements to cold starts. Now, what's better than running compute or having a cold start or no cold starts if you don't have to run any compute at all? So let's talk about partial pre-rendering, which was a new experimental rendering model which we introduced in Next.js 14. With PPR, you can optimize a significant portion of your page to be static. Then you can leave holes for the dynamic content defined by your React suspense boundary. So the static parts can get streamed to visitors instantly from the nearest Vercel region without blocking and waiting until the personalized components, like the cart or my user profile, or that promotion that's going to allow me to get 40% off. So those are able to then stream in on demands. So this not only means that cold starts now are more rare and faster, but they also get to happen in parallel while you're running these static fetches and the dynamic content is streaming in. Now, we've been making improvements to PPR for many months now, and we're looking for your feedback as you experiment with it and try it out. To make this easier, you can now try out PPR on a single route versus opting in your entire application, and that change is included today with the Next.js 15 release candidate. Woo! Yeah, I'm pumped about this one. It's jam-packed with features. First up, we have support for the React 19 release candidate, just recently released. We have experimental support for the React compiler, very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to using that in my own applications. Secondly here, something I've heard from many of you in the crowd, many of you online. Hi, Mom. Please improve caching in the Next.js app router. And I'm really excited to share that we've changed the defaults for caching things like fetch and route handlers and the client router cache, all these things, you want to opt into that behavior. So starting with Next.js 15, we've heard your feedback and made those changes, which is great. Yeah, caching improvements. Woo! And as I mentioned, you can incrementally adopt partial pre-rendering. We also have a new design for Create Next App. Thank you, Evil Rabbit and Yaz. And it also now allows you to opt in to using TurboPack. So TurboPack just hit 100% of test passing for Next Dev, and we're really close. We're so close to marketing it as stable, so we really want you to try this out on your new applications, see how things work, and give us some feedback. All right, that's all for Next.js today. I'm going to welcome Ty to talk about security.
Really appreciate that. Let's talk security, a foundational pillar of everything we build at Vercel. And woven into our internal systems, our development processes, and the infrastructure we secure for you. As you saw, it's in our DNA. Our vision for Vercel security is simple. Every website, every web application. We're going to try something new right now. Say this with me. Secure by default. We believe protection against modern threats like DDoS attacks should be foundational. This vision guides product roadmaps as we strive to bring even greater visibility and control to teams of all sizes worldwide. At Vercel, we work hard to ensure our customers can have peace of mind knowing we're committed to industry standards and frameworks with our ISO 27001, our SOC 2 Type 2 certifications, and that they can trust that we're doing what we can to enable them to be successful with compliance and regulations. PCI DSS, HIPAA, GDPR, and the one over there that's still iterating to greatness. But let's look at Vercel security and the breadth of coverage it provides behind the scenes. As with all teams, it starts with people. Access security. Simply put, how can we ensure that the right people have the right access to do the right work, all at the right time. You'll see this in action with deployment protection, where we can lock it down using password protection or Vercel authentication, or perhaps restrict by trusted IPs. We also offer industry standards, SAML with directory sync, and role-based access control. So even our largest enterprise customers can focus on iteration speed, not permissions management and user provisioning. Next, let's talk about infrastructure security. This represents our work to continuously harden our infrastructure against pervasive attacks. This includes our TLS infrastructure that helps automatically provision and renew those certs, and secure compute, which creates a trusted perimeter around your application and its connected services. In this example, our customer, Under Armour, they went ahead with their digital transformation to protect their Salesforce Commerce Cloud instantly, unlocking a secure path for composable architecture. And believe it or not, the Vercel firewall has been protecting your infrastructure for years with inbound attacks and managing and mitigating malicious attacks at layer 2 and 3, like SYN floods and DDoS attacks. But in reality, it's been operating behind the scenes. And by behind the scenes, it's been a black box. You got nothing on the screen. And well, that's why today we're introducing tools that bring greater visibility to attacks we're already stopping. Just this past 2 weeks alone, we have some really amazing stats. But one of the key things is we're targeted with SYN floods all the time. Now, those malicious requests that are stopped by the Vercel firewall without you having to lift a finger, which will now be visible directly in your dashboard. And we're bringing that visibility to all security events. Our North Star is complete automation. Say it with me again, secure by default. But while we can continue to do that with our investments into secure frameworks and infrastructure, you're the only one that understands your application, your audience that are unique to your business needs. And that brings me to, particularly, application security. We're moving beyond just automated platform layer 2 and 3 security to empower you and your teams to customizable layer 7 protections. We want you to be able to control every single request, so you can tailor measures that fit your security needs to your business. And we're doing that with the latest enhancements to our Vercel firewall. I'm particularly excited to announce the Vercel Web Application Firewall. The WAF is a Vercel native, which of course means done the Vercel way. You get reliability, scalability, and of course, first-party security without compromising on speed. The WAF includes a powerful customs rule engine that puts you in control and decide how to handle your traffic. Allow it, challenge it, block it, log it, based on characteristics like path, user agent, IP address, geolocation, maybe JAW4 fingerprints. We also offer managed rule sets that help you navigate and handle OWASP top 10 protection for those that want zero config security. Your security teams now have direct control over the front-end deployments right from within Vercel. They can fine-tune incoming traffic, ensuring only legitimate traffic gets through. It's an unexpected, undesired spike occurs. You can leverage challenge mode to temporarily challenge all of those requests while you investigate. Then simply create a custom rule. And today, we're also announcing rate limiting in beta, which means firewall level request frequency enforcement. It's a mouthful. So you can control how even your legitimate users access your applications. The WAF will leverage Vercel's inherent understanding of your app and the underlying optimal infrastructure that we take care of for you, giving this firewall unique insight into context and even content of each request, which will help you achieve security gains that most security solutions simply can't match. These rules also get to leverage our work over the past 8 years with our optimized data propagation pipelines. Now, with that same infrastructure that ensures instant domain assignments and 300 millisecond ISR replications, your firewall gets propagated in milliseconds. So, they asked me to do a demo, but how do you really demo a firewall? And then I thought to myself, I'm a security guy. We've all experienced this 30-minute wait time of waiting something to go out to the edge, the network, out into the world, and it's pretty painful. So, seeing is believing. And let's get this in action. Lee, let's get you back up on stage.
All right. We got a good tag team going here.
Everyone still has access to the app, ship-vote.vercel app, or scan the QR code. And when you went to the site at first, you may have noticed attack challenge mode, but it could have occurred really quickly, and you didn't actually see it in action. So, let's kick things up a notch, Lee. Let's take a look at some of this traffic in the dashboard, shall we? Where's it all coming from?
Well, it looks like we have a custom rule, hello NYC.
Oh, interesting. Maybe we were prepared in advance.
What is that? Let's dig in here. We can see a bunch of different user agents. Many of y'all here in the crowd logging in on your phones, iPhone or Androids. Interesting. Maybe we want to deny this traffic?
I think we should. Why don't we just stop all of New York?
Let's do it. Well, we have this rule, hello NYC, it's logging. Let's change that to deny. We're going to review our changes, make sure everything's good. So let's publish that. Why don't we all refresh our phones? Is it updated already? Do we see it?
Oh, was that
There we
300
go.
milliseconds? It's updated.
How about that?
Long are the days of waiting 30 minutes. Now we can do it in milliseconds.
Totally.
So why don't we get rid of that rule and try something a little bit more interestingly?
Agreed.
Let's throw that back.
Yep.
And let's go deeper into those user agents. I think that's an area where we've all struggled with getting legitimate traffic to our site. Let's look at something a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, now you could imagine somewhere in here we might have some malicious traffic, maybe specifically for y'all in the crowd. If you try to run some scripts against this, maybe on your machine, we can dig in and view that and filter by user agents or countries or IP addresses. We have all this information we can dig into. So let's say, for example, someone in here was malicious and we decide that we want to block that traffic.
Let's block it.
Let's do it. So if we go back to configure, you'll see I still have this one change pending from when I allowed all of the New York traffic back in. Everyone at home is just laughing at us. It was like, haha, I can view the site. I'm going to make a new rule. We can call this my new rule. And maybe I want to make a request here based on the request path, maybe the user agent. I can look for some script, the query, cookies, IP address, region, city, state, or even unique fingerprints for that traffic. So we can go even further than user requests. But you know what? Maybe we'll do a user agent. And if anybody tries to do anything with Go HTTP clients, running those Go scripts, anything that contains any of that, we could then log it, we could block it, challenge it, or even bypass it. So this looks pretty good. I'll save this rule. And we can go back, publish these changes. And now I think New York should be back online.
Are we back?
Are we back? Are we so back?
I think we're so back.
We're so back. All right. There we go. Awesome.
Awesome, Lee. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
So, you've seen it. Our mission is to make security more than just a defense against threats. We're committed to offering a platform where security is inherent, an integral part of your experience. Vercel Security scales with modern, global web. It's designed to understand the applications it's securing, so it never gets in the way of the user experience. And it gives you, yes, you, control of how you handle that traffic. And as the web and the threats continue to evolve and AI workloads increase the exponential impact of these attacks, Vercel Security enhancements will not only secure your applications, but also empower you to innovate and scale with confidence, knowing you don't need an additional service or CDN in front of Vercel. Thank you. With that,
Gotta love a successful live demo, or a handful. Thank you, team. So we started Vercel with two simple commands, Next.dev and Vercel deploy. 8 years later, those commands have transformed into the front-end cloud, a platform that empowers you to ship building great world-class applications. Today, the web is more powerful than ever, as AI is taking it to the next level. We're seeing major changes in how we create things and even how we understand the world around us. Remember 2 years ago? No ChatGPT, no Perplexity, no Claude, no Scarlett Johansson, no Midjourney. And now, they're practically everywhere, extensions of our lives. But here's the thing. This isn't just about geeking out on new technology. It's truly about unlocking a whole new level of creativity for everybody. And all of the features we showed today, they were built to really empower you and to lower the barrier of entry to this technology. I really want you all to go out and build products that make people think, wow, how does this not exist before? Or how is this so fast? So the next generation of developers gets to bring ideas to the web a lot faster. They're unblocked. And with all these technologies, we can bring really meaningful changes to their lives. Everyone here is invited to build the future of the web with us. And this is really all about why Vercel exists. This is why we invest so much into our developer experience to empower developers. This is why we're bringing all these AI capabilities into the platform. And it's really all about helping the web win. So let's transform the web together. Let's blow some minds. LFG.